and welcome to CLCI Live. Brooke just left as soon as the live started.
Oh, lovely.
She went to get water.
Oh,
Oh, I'm not saying it's inappropriate what I say.
Exactly.
Thank you all for showing up. This is the last live of the year of 2025, and then we're done.
Happy New Year.
Yippee.
wow. That's
Happy
crazy.
So we're probably going to be a little loosey-goosey on this live. I can
You think?
like, just
Aren't we
get through
always?
it.
I don't
Yeah.
know what makes this one more special.
We have to go out with a bang.
I guess before we begin,
Did you
be sure to
have-
like,
yeah,
subscribe, share, and comment on our videos. Interact with us.
Please.
All the crazy stuff you've been holding in all year, just chat with us now in YouTube and Facebook lands and whatnot. Last week we discussed the roles we inherited and how our families shape who we become. Now we are talking about: are you letting a quiz define who you are? The dark side
Mhm.
personality test.
Oh, this is good. I feel better. Here, my results aren't gonna have to define me.
Well, they do. So yeah, we're talking about personality tests and how they tend to fit sometimes in the life coaching world and also, I guess, the psychology world, and how
In a lot of places, actually.
yeah, and
Mhm.
workplaces too.
Workplace for sure.
Personal jobs use it a lot to see if you're a good candidate, and what the hang-ups and problems can be if you identify with your personality test too much, or other people identify
I
you
couldn't
with your
even. So like
personality.
Myers-Briggs, I don't know. I think we must have been taking an abbreviated version because
Yeah.
it was like either or choices all the way down. Are you this or are you this? And I was like, I'm both, depending on the situation. I'm
Yes.
both. And then I was like, I can't do this.
Yep.
The one I took was gradiated. Like I could have like
Mine
different.
too.
And then I must have taken. I thought you posted the something I did.
Yeah, these we're talking like, what are the main ones we're talking about? Myers-Briggs, Big Five personality. Those are like your most common ones that are reused and recycled in everywhere in jobs and online.
Yeah. Those are the
Maybe if
biggest.
you're a life coach, you use these as well. I also took a DISC
we did
assessment,
This. We all did this.
which stands for, what does DISC stand for again?
I wish Sam was here.
I know.
I know.
Stands for essentially dominant, influencing, steady, and correct. It's like your leadership style. Yes, and it's like for like in group settings, kind
Yeah,
of.
I think it's a group dynamic situation.
Yep.
That's what they want to. So like you want everybody in your office to take like a DISC assessment, and then it tells you how you work as a group, essentially.
And then later, I
wonder like if you could put out like, okay, we are missing our insert in our
eye,
our eye or our whatever it might be. You are looking for this, which is kind of what we're on.
Oh yeah, you want me to go back to the wrong one.
Oh, no,
Well, I was gonna say I also took my Harry Potter house test, and I'm a
I
Ravenclaw
thought you were Slytherin.
and or Slytherin. It varies. And then I took
did
my
that too.
Winnie the Pooh pathology test, and I'm Eeyore. I have depression.
Oh my goodness.
Is there just a bunch of different tests like that on that
Oh
site?
my gosh.
Yeah, it's called IDR Labs. It's a very
Yeah.
fun website, and they're like they have the citations of like what psychologists came up with these like tests. It'll say like in the beginning like where's this test from and what study it's from and which two psychologists did the Pooh pathology test. Yeah, I mean there's just a million different personality tests for everything imaginable. And they're fun. I don't know. I like them. I think they're fun. I don't
too.
think they're accurate. Is my personal opinion. Is I think if you hang your hat on these personality tests and like, I don't know. I'm trying to not go into territory where I'm insulting people, but I view them in the same way as I view astrology.
Can be
I was gonna
dangerous
say that.
if you weigh a lot into them, I should say. I want to say.
Well, and what side of the fence is doing the weight? That's the other side. How is it being used to your benefit
Mhm.
against you?
So before we talk, like we will, I want to say that all of this will always circle back to coaching. We'll always bring all of this back to coaching and how these tools are used in coaching and all of that. But I mean, first and foremost, I think it's fair to know that for all of us can say it's kind of fun to take a personality test, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some accuracy in it at the very least because it depends on how you self-report yourself, which also
Yeah.
is part of the methodology of why it is probably very inconsistent because you're only self-reporting. You're not
Mhm.
getting
Yes,
your friends or your family's input, and they're not taking tests about how they perceive you. So you're really only getting your own ego
Yeah.
and maybe how you
I don't know.
want to be perceived.
I was really letting Anthony influence my choices online, so
Yes.
it wasn't all ego
That's
based.
not
It's
I was
because
like, I don't know, what
Brooke
am I?
doesn't have a good sense of self. I
No,
don't know.
it's not that I feel like it was hard for me to like differentiate as to which I was most like or not like, and I guess I feel like I live in a lot more of the gray
Mhm.
areas, and then these tests don't feel like they leave a lot of room for gray, and
Mhm.
so that part of it is where it gets. I mean, for even just taking it, it's very confusing to me because as I'm taking it, I'm like, well, it depends on what situation. We were just
Mhm.
having this argument
Mhm.
before we came on the live with the fact that like when Anthony clocks out of work, he can be very social. Like this man can, he's surprisingly social. Sometimes social, like he will almost daily is on a group call with his friends and they play video games together and like they all get on and they all and this I mean it's pretty much daily this happens for like at least an hour and they all just joke around and talk and laugh and that to me is very social and it's not something I do and it's funny because I come up as like super social person and yes I absolutely am super social but like also like I don't like with my friends I'm not like on a call with them every day for an hour. That doesn't happen.
We
In
like
fact,
to
like
gossip.
when people call me, and like most of the time, I'm like, oh, I have to pick up the phone and talk to somebody. You know what I mean? Like, I guess I prefer my social interactions to be in person. And like so, like I do better in person. But so it's interesting that like all of the tests very much categorize him as a much more antisocial person. But I think that's within the context of when you're looking through that window of okay, this is how he is at work. But he's very different outside of work too.
So he's only antisocial at work.
It's the test is
Yeah.
also, I know the one that I took, it was structured in a public space, like when you're answering those types of questions. Are you social?
Did it
And
say that?
energized around other
No.
people is what it is.
I did
going
not pay
for.
attention to that.
I
That's
mean, we
probably
kind
part
of think
it.
we took different
Mhm. I think we did.
personality tests, the MBTI ones, because it's here's the thing with those tests. Now I'm getting into the critique of them. You all probably know there's not a single MBTI test that is like the original one.
The Myers-Briggs, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's been iterations of it, and it's free, and it's I think in the Persona documentary we watched, it's just like nobody was able to secure a
Well,
trademark on it.
yeah.
So everybody does their little tweaks and
Their own
variations. It's not
variations.
entirely
Yeah.
consistent.
Well, that's that the Myers-Briggs never trademarked the letter, like
Yes,
the
the
letters.
letters.
And so because of that, they don't have anybody can basically adapt it and use the letters to their liking and have their own test. I mean, and not to say that that test was like developed by some great scientific minds either. It was a mother who was kind of obsessed with her daughter and her daughter's behavior. And yes, mind you, she had a rich history and background in psychology, but also at the same time, it's like one person making observations about her daughter and obsessing over her daughter's personality and then creating an entire personality test sort of based on that. And that's going to have a whole lot of bias in itself as well. Which we'll talk about in a second, is just the innate bias in these things. But before we get there, they are fun to take.
Mhm.
I also, one of the things I find interesting in this is I feel like there's a lot of ego in taking a personality test. and a lot of ego like around like, well, what my results are. And it can be a lot of different ways, like, because like I think you look at it and you go, oh yeah, that's definitely who I am. That's or that is or isn't, or you have agreement or disagreement. But I've also noticed like there are like influencer type folk who are like, I am the rarest
Yeah. I don't even know what that
personality
means.
type, and so I'm special and nobody gets me except for other people like me. And that to me just cracks me up. Like that makes me laugh. I'm like, I don't understand why anybody is putting a great deal of value in whatever that might be.
Well, and it can, you take the test today and then you take it tomorrow, you could have a whole different result.
Very true.
Yes, and something I noticed was like there were certain questions that I was like, well, like 10 years ago I would answer this question this. Today, not so much. Like I notice a massive difference
Shift
just
in
in
personality.
time on who I am. Yeah, it's crazy.
I just want to let people know I am the rarest Myers-Briggs
You are
personality type.
rare. It's
I'm
true.
an ENTJ.
Rare form, as always.
Just letting people know.
Okay, you are.
Yeah, so these personality tests. Did we all watch Persona? That
We did, yeah.
I did.
did all of us
I
watch
didn't
it?
because I don't have HBO anymore.
Oh, I'm
sadly.
sorry. It's okay. You would have cried at the end. So
Yeah, it was
Yeah, it was
very
kinda
shocking.
We need
Oh,
to say the whole name because there's a German one that's from 1967 that was totally not what we were doing.
So yeah, one of the reasons we're doing this is because I had watched this documentary, and this is something that we come across a lot in life coaching.
Mhm.
And I didn't have a huge opinion on personality tests, other than that I know they are very widely used. I know a lot of coaches use them, and I do enjoy taking a personality test now and again, as long as it's not going to take me 3 hours to fill it out. And so I was like, oh, I'm going to watch this documentary, and it's called Persona: The Dark Truth Behind Personality Tests. And it did sort of bring up a lot of the things that I kind of had an idea and had thought about, but then really expressed how I didn't understand how widely used personality tests are. But now when I really think about it, like with
like when's the last time you applied to a job
That's
that had a
true.
questionnaire?
Exactly. Not in a very long time,
Mhm.
because I'm not out there looking for work. The other thing too is we use an online when we were hiring.
We use
hired
Indeed.
Jen through it. Yeah, we used Indeed, and Indeed has various. You can ask people to take assessments. You can ask people to take different things. Like as an employer, we can request that they complete these things
Yes.
before.
Jen's personality was quite worrisome.
Hired her
A lot of red
anyway.
flags.
So
You
I
know,
didn't
random fun fact. I just told my husband the story about how it went down. I'm not gonna say it, but like he thought that was hilarious. Like how Anthony was mad that I got hired. Like he thought that was so funny.
Okay, just to clarify for the people watching, I wasn't mad that you were hired. I was mad at how quickly a decision was reached before we had other interviewees to go through. And Jen and Lisa were just like,
Brooke and
or
me.
Brooke and Lisa were just like, let's just call her back and hire her now.
Outright.
Just get it over with.
I like how we sound like drunk ants. Like
Yeah.
They kind of.
let's call her
Oh
back
my
and hire her
God.
now.
That's
We
how
sound
I-
like we're drunk and
It's how
southern.
I felt at the time.
Oh my gosh. But hey, it's worked out, so
Wonderfully, yes. Look,
Maybe.
turns out Lisa and I were right.
There was another girl who was a real type A personality. She's a real spitfire.
Probably would not have gotten along.
Yeah,
with
she
our
probably
group.
would not have gone along with us, but I
Uh,
liked her.
Or she would have had a lot of comebacks for your smart
Yeah,
aleck.
that's true. She wouldn't have tolerated me. So never mind.
no,
We're happy with
probably
Jen.
not.
I remember one of the first things you said was, I hope you're okay with joking around, or I hope you're okay with laughing, or I hope you're okay with having fun. And I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
we're gonna
No,
be
I
just
hate
fine
that.
together.
I hate fun. Fun is awful.
But yeah, turns out we're sidetracking here. Turns out a lot of jobs, I'm sure this is not a surprise to a lot of people watching this, use these kinds of personality tests to make decisions about who was worth hiring and who was not. The entire long and short of this HBO thing is that capitalism ruins everything.
Yes,
just-
there you go.
Capitalism makes it so that doing these personality tests is a horrible experience.
I mean, I think thank you, Anthony. But what it essentially highlights is a lot of the things that come up with these, and I think we can start to go into this now a bit. Right before we do that, let's talk quickly about it. We often in coaching we see coaches who use personality tests. Like I see it. It's used as a tool, especially when we're talking about like team coaching. Team dynamic coaching and things like that. It is something that many coaches have come around and gotten it as a tool. And again, not saying that is wrong or right? But I think it's important for us to know as coaches, as we adopt tools like this, what the other side of the coin,
the rationale
might be happening. What things you might not think of as a coach, and things to consider when giving a personality test to somebody. And I think one of the things to bring up is, the first thing we can talk about is bias, right? Like, I think that's one of the first things we need to discuss in this conversation of like what that other side of the coin. All of these personality tests are going to have a degree of bias in them.
Whether that's racial or class bias or ethnic bias or gender bias.
Because no matter who is developing the personality test, they are developing it for a specific reason. Like, no, people are going into it and developing these tests for a specific reason. So if we're looking at DISC, it's largely used as group dynamic, right? So that is being developed in order to essentially categorize people into categories, so you can then use that tool in order to understand how they work in a group environment and possibly get them to work better within their group dynamic. So you have to understand that test is going to be biased towards that specific need. It's also going to be biased toward the people who are setting it up and giving it. One of the things that's often not considered on all of this is like people who are neurodivergent, like and people who have various things of that nature going on, and so what it's doing is automatically categorizing or filing people who may have a disability of some kind, may be neurodivergent, may have something going on, and saying that they are this and they will always only ever be this, and they're not going to be X, Y, or Z. But what it's not considering in all of that is many of us who are neurodivergent have learned a whole bunch of skills in order for us to operate and be successful in our group environments, in our working environments. And the personality test is not asking questions around that, right? It's saying it's basically like, what is most like you to do? Well, it might not be most likely me to do that, but that doesn't mean I haven't developed a whole bunch of skills and the ability to not have that be the thing I would do. And so like, it's a weird
kind
layer.
of a sliver. It's just a sliver of possibility of who you are. It's not who you are. And so to take that value, and like it can be fun. Until I saw that documentary, I thought it was, these are fun. And then I went, oh shoot, not so much. The sliver of who you are in that given moment can't really define you in a job experience and really the work environment that you're put in. I mean, I think we have a dynamic team. We have the best team ever, and we've all worked together to fit in different ways. And there's some teams that don't do that, right? So we could go from this dynamic experience of our team, be dropped in another team, and that doesn't work.
Part of another reason, I guess, a reason why personality tests do work, though, thinking back to Indeed with Jen, we probably had hundreds of people apply with us.
Yeah.
It seems the only cost-effective way at the time, maybe I'm just not a good HR person. So if you're reading this and you have a comment for a better solution, let me know. But it seems like for employers who have hundreds, if not thousands of applicants, a personality test is an efficient, cost-effective way to sift through the many applicants.
So, like, for me, one of the things we talked about, we did ask for somebody to fill out like a questionnaire before the
Minimal questions, though,
but
right?
it was minimal.
Yeah, isn't that?
But the reason, and Anthony, we had a whole discussion on it because you at the time did not want to have them do that. And I was like, no, we're making them do it. Why? And I don't care what their answers are. I don't feel like we have to open up and look at any of the answers. I care that they took the time to sit down and complete it.
That's true.
And that's what I cared most about, because I was like, that automatically is going to show us who cares about getting the job is the people who sit down, take the time to fill it out. At the end of the day, I don't give it one iota of what they wrote inside of it. I just want to know that they took the time to actually fill that out. And that means they had enough care about the job to take this extra step. And yes, it was absolutely a way to funnel, right? Because then it's going to take our 100 applicants down to probably like 30. And then it's much more palpable.
Yeah.
But it wasn't the 30 applicants that did. We didn't use that assessment for us to like get through those 30 applicants. We essentially said, now we're going to take a closer look at the people that were willing to complete the information.
Also, with those tests, with Indeed or any other, I guess, at least we saw in like the Persona as well, that documentary. It's not actually a way to evaluate who you are as a person. It's a way to evaluate if you are competent enough and smart enough to change who you are to fit the job and seem like a desirable candidate.
So
That's what's important in a lot of these tests.
talking about is they had a training to help people understand what these little tests are and really how to navigate through them so that they become
more desirable.
Yeah.
More desirable, more
Wow.
marketable.
Didn't even put that.
So what is really being evaluated with a lot of these tests is, are you a candidate who can change and be knowledgeable enough and perceptive enough to maybe identify what it is the employer or whoever's giving you the test.
Are you capable of lying?
Are you capable of lying
well enough
to do the job that we want you to do? Which I'm gonna
so wrong.
Yeah,
I
it's just
think it's an
counterintuitive.
important skill. I think it's an important skill because the real Anthony sometimes is a bit antisocial and stubborn and boneheaded. The work Anthony, though, knows well enough that I have to present a certain sort of customer service face to people.
Okay.
And be agreeable enough to
Okay.
get results for, whatever job or thing that I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
And so, okay.
And if you are not, I wouldn't say capable, but if that's not something that's on your mind, like I'm going to be truthful to myself, true to myself, I'm going to answer exactly how I would do in the moment, and you're not able to go that extra step and identify that maybe that's not what the employer wants, I can see the rationale why they wouldn't want to go forward with you.
Okay, yes, but I also, I guess to me it doesn't have to be that they're not smart enough or they're not capable. It's a degree of naivete, I think, is what it is.
Or sticking to your values. Like my values are more important.
Oh yes.
Than...
Okay. So it could be stubborn. There could be a number of things. Look at me. You see the two different personalities at work right here. Yep. Me always thinking the best of people, and him. Okay. So but like that could also be what is going on, and I think that I don't know. I don't feel like naivete is something that should make somebody unemployable. That's going to come with learning and time. What I think the big issue is, though, and so coming back to like how this applies into the coaching space, is what happens is people get labeled at the end of taking these tests as one thing or two things or three things or four things or being a specific type of way. And then what comes from that is like you hear this all the time in the world. I am an introvert. I am an extrovert. I am this. I am that. I am stubborn. I am a people pleaser. I am, and we tend to subscribe to astrology. I am Aries. I am, you know what I mean? We subscribe to these categories about who we are and our personalities, and the personality tests kind of I think they reinforce it, right?
Yeah, it's what's called a hyperstition, is where it is this thing like you can imagine somebody who's never heard of or taken a personality test before in their life. They take one, they're this thing, they're an Aries. I don't know. It's a personality test that tells you your sign.
Yeah.
And now this person is actively doing things and making decisions in their life to reinforce this test result that they were given.
This is what I am.
So it's flips cause and effect.
It's putting yourself in a big box, right? It's and the reason though, okay, so if taking that back to, this is explored again in the documentary, the reason that like Myers-Briggs was originally created was with the intention of reducing suffering, essentially. So like if I am somebody who tends to be this way, I'm going to operate better with somebody who tends to be this way. And if I know that, then I will reduce suffering in my life by seeking out specific types of people that I know I'm going to be more compatible with, right? Which is, I think, that's a great thought process, but I don't think, one, I don't think it's realistic. Two, I don't think the ultimately a life with no suffering is always the best life. I think that it can create a lot a weak person, I guess. If they say we need micro stresses, it
reminds me of like putting yourself in an echo chamber. Like if you only keep yourself surrounded with people who you get along with really well or mesh with really well, then you're
not going to expand your world. It feels like we're putting ourselves in boxes, right? Yeah. And so that's why when if we are a life coach and we are giving tests like this, that's where my first red flag comes up, is what is the intention in giving the test, right? What are we doing with this test? How are these results being used? Would be my first question. It can, if it's being used to create an understanding that maybe my first reaction or inclination is to act this way, and then the client is realizing they want to grow from the way that they normally act, I can see that, okay, that's less red flaggy to me. If it's being used to reinforce, though, that they are one way and that's the way they're going to operate, so they shouldn't worry about change, but they should instead,
or even like having it influence the goals that the client has in mind. Like, oh, you are this personality test, so you should do things that are aligned with this personality if you want to be happy. Whatever goals you have should be realigned. Or the way
you go about your goals, right? Like,
which I don't think has a place in coaching.
It is a tool that is a little harder to use. Again, I can see it more clearly used with and not creating bias and some issues more easily in group dynamic coaching than in a one-on-one coaching kind of situation.
Or if you're working with a sponsor.
Yeah. There's a lot of things that come up because I think as coaches, we want to believe our clients are capable of being and doing most things. And that's what our role is as a coach. So I would just always make sure that the tool is being used with that purpose, right? It's not being used in order to reinforce a client's personality, but maybe being used to bring awareness so that they can then grow beyond the label, right? Because that would be my hope, that we're all capable of growing beyond our label and being able to be happy in more than one situation or way, if things being a specific way.
I think the idea is to be empathetic towards someone and understanding they're not the same as us. And sometimes that's where these little tests can identify very loose word as I say that, just the differences, and just to find that compassion on how we can just work with it or be friends with, or whatever that is intended for, to really have that compassion and empathy for someone not being you.
Yeah, I think that's an amazing point. Like it's good for us, I guess, as a coach, because we are supposed to try to reduce our bias, to have an understanding that people all work differently, right? So like knowing that there are lots of different ways people operate, and lots of different ways people get satisfaction, and lots of different ways people find peace and fulfillment, and that can come in a number of different ways for a number of different people based on who they are, what their personality is, what the environment is, and a number of other factors. It is that, again, I guess the personality test can help a coach open up their understanding of people.
It could
and
also
how
be a way
they
to
may
break
operate.
the ice as well.
How?
Maybe just like, hey, let's talk about like
so
it's
you're an ENTJ. Like,
yeah. I mean, it seems like maybe it's one of those things that's like
an earlier thing,
a funnel, a free offering,
Yeah.
a way to maybe break the ice in conversation. Like, hey, here's the topic we can talk about. What do you think about this? And then you can then like sort of skirt into leading through goals.
So I would love to know, like with Sam, I would love to know how he utilizes it.
The DISC assessment.
Yeah, I would like to know that too. Actually, that's a good question.
Because I'm sure he uses it in a very smart way.
Actually, at the very end of it, it does have things, next steps that you should do with the DISC assessment. I'll go over them really quickly. But ideally, like, yeah, with these tests, you should have something that like is done with them afterwards. Now, how effectively you can implement these things, and if they are correct or not in their assessments, and if they're scientific, different kinds of questions. But I am given an action plan at the end of the DISC assessment. We're all given action plans.
It's like,
and then we get the group dynamics report too, which is I'm sure useful in some way.
So with the action plan, it's asking me to take a worksheet after I get all my results and reflect upon them between me and my closest contacts. And then give this page to an associate of mine or someone I know to check yes or no on these things of me. So I am getting a third-party perspective. So Brooke, would you say I need excessive planning time? Yes or no?
Two. Okay. Well, oh god, we're gonna go through this.
I'm giving you an example.
Excessive? This is where I get lost in the details.
All right.
How do you define excessive?
Be sure to give
I
the
do
other
this
person
too.
like an hour to do this. And then the action plan is continued. What I want to focus on, specific actions I want to take, yada yada yada. So there's there's at least follow up with this report, which is nice.
Yeah, it does feel a little to me like, yes, there's follow up, but it feels judgy.
Yeah.
So as a coach, I would not.
I think part of any sort of personality test, I think it is also rely on how well the person taking the test is a judge of themselves and how willing they are to make a judgment call, like, yes, this is me, or no, this does not go with me. If you're somebody who's kind of, I don't know, naive, but I'm trying to think of another word for it, where you just take the results as a given and be like, okay, this is me. It's probably not as effective for naive people.
Well, I don't think naive is the right word. It's like self-aware, I don't know,
willing to be persuaded.
There's a lot of different things. Like,
well, I'm trying to make a difference between the people who just get the results and accept it for what they are.
I don't think anybody does.
Versus the people who I think probably more.
Probably
more surprised.
Really?
That the amount of people.
You
yes.
don't think people self-analyze and be like,
no,
is that me?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, I think people, especially younger, before you kind of like, know a lot of stuff. Like you
underdeveloped, I think is the term.
Yeah.
We're looking for.
I think when I was young, I would just kind of accept it and wouldn't.
That's a good metaphor.
Yeah.
and it's good because we just watched this. The Harry Potter scene where they got
Yeah.
the little hat on.
Slytherin. I mean,
Every single time the hat's just like, you're this, you're
Mhm.
that. And everybody just goes along with it. Harry Potter's the only one to be like, oh, please, I want to be Gryffindor. Oh, it's so bad.
It says it takes into account.
Yeah, I know. But like, people need to be self-aware of what they want.
I know my volume's really low. That's because Anthony's yelling and he's right by the mic.
I'm sorry. I'm just so energetic.
I didn't know mine was loud.
All I'm saying is these tests become more or less effective based on how clear of a self-image you have.
Well,
and
and I
how willing you are to say and disagree with the results.
We all have blind spots, right? Like we all have
Mhm.
big blind spots. So that is something to be aware of in all of these tests. I think
Yes, I think a lot of people, you know, if they're watching TV and they have opinions about a soap opera, right? They're going to think this is true about them. That mindset doesn't see that there is other opportunities.
other ways to be.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I mean, yes, I want to say yes and no though, because I think everybody at some point has to learn they have to be capable of adapting, right? Otherwise, you're not going to be able to function. Like we're social creatures, so we all have to have some ability to adapt.
I agree, but I don't know that they adapt as readily as some others.
Others may.
Like last week, we were kind of talking about how your family assigns roles. That could
Yeah.
reinforce what
Oh,
you
yeah.
get on one of
Yeah.
these tests. There's a lot of people I would assume that would do that.
I mean, so here's my as we're talking about people and their inability to adapt then and all of these things, like is the first intention correct, which is, well, then I am going to set myself up for maximum success by making sure I end up in an environment that reinforces how I am on my personality test, doing something that reinforces what my personality likes, and I will resist or remove myself from any situation that doesn't support that. Like,
not so black and
that's
white.
going to create more suffering in my life.
Yeah, if it was that black and white, I
don't see it as that cut and dry. Yeah.
Like, that's where like for me, that automatically has created a big hole or issue with these personality tests, because it's not realistic for us to be set up in this ideal environment where we can be the what we are at all times and don't have to adapt and assume other roles, and every so often be capable of pushing ourselves out of our comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
We all have to learn how to do things we don't enjoy doing at some point, right?
Yes.
I would say us in the bell curve, yes. There's outliers that, you know, that they don't meet the bell curve.
Yeah.
Speaking of bell curves, and this is adjacent to the conversation, how do we feel about aptitude tests? I feel like, and I'm talking about like the IQ test is like the most common one, but like,
what is it? The point?
They're adjacent to personality test, I think.
Yeah, but like, no, I just mean like in response to that, like I feel like if we're testing people, we should be testing towards specific skill sets for specific reasons, but nobody's hiring anybody based on IQ. You know what I mean? Like, like that's not realistic. So it'd be like, I'm going to hire an aerial teacher, but they have to have a high IQ.
Like,
who cares? They have to be able to do and show other people how to do tricks. And it doesn't make so somebody with a high IQ is going to walk in and be an idiot in that situation and not be able to helpful and be able to do very much. So like,
I know. I'm trying to wrap my head around really why don't people use IQ tests, but why are people less keen on using IQ tests? Might be a legal reason. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Why they're more keen on personality tests?
I would guess it's probably legal. One, but I think beyond legal reason, I don't think there is. The reason I think personality tests are more widely used is because we can see the tangible application at work immediately. Like that, we can. Like I can, if I know somebody is an introvert and I am hiring somebody to be a salesperson, right? That to me, there's this automatic correlation, right? IQ is it's too ethereal. It's too out in, how do I automatically apply IQ to anything?
Yeah, and for your general person, like I don't care what my IQ is, but I'm interested in maybe understanding my personality traits a little bit more. That actually could benefit me. Knowing what my IQ is doesn't change anything for me.
So
I don't think that's true.
Most people with enough repetition can be trained to pretty much do any job for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
And that IQ, does it help? Does it hurt? I mean, it I guess could help, but if anybody could be trained to do a position, then it becomes in what degree of how well do they do it? Right. So that's, I think, where the personality would come in and help modify things as necessary to work in that.
I think we have to circle back to coaching, but I'm just going to say this one statement. I mean, it's really just employers being lazy is what it is. They don't want to have to like train, put the extra time in to train people. They don't have to put the extra time. Like, we know there's a lot of people out there that need jobs. We're going to make our lives easiest. But moving back to coaching and the application of personality tests in coaching or not applicating.
But there's also other tests. We've talked about DISC. We didn't talk about the 365 and the 1010s, which
I don't even know what those are. The 10 is the motivating one, the motivators one, right? Where like it looks at what motivates you to do things, I think.
And then the 365 is usually given to everybody around you, but not you.
Yeah.
They're too enumerable to enumerate. There's a lot of them.
But those are all, again, typically used in team coaching and group coaching type situations. If we have a client, though, that's coming in and is, identifying as anything, right? Mm-hmm. Again, this is I think we all know the answer. What do we do with that as a coach?
It's a data point. That's about it. I say
that's just a way that's a way that my client interprets their world and who they are as a person.
Yeah.
Not really my job to question it necessarily or challenge them or try to instruct them ways that it's probably not accurate. Just leave that all behind.
I think there would be room for challenge when it's appropriate, but not in like a are you really sure? More like a curiosity challenge, not an actual like, hey, I don't know about that.
It's not me setting an agenda as a coach to change their point of view. It's just
more
so, okay, this is
or to reinforce it. We're not doing that. That's their job.
Yeah. This is a way for me to just identify how this person views themselves. Mm-hmm. If I was a client going to a coaching session, I would never tell my coach that, I'm an ENTJ and I'm a Libra. This is not how I identify myself. Yeah, but you would
go in and tell them that you are list 3 personality traits of yourself that you are. You are what?
Analytical, cold, and
depressed.
And humorous.
I'm depressed. My life sucks, and I hate
depressed,
it.
We have to refer you.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. But like, those are just points to take of how this person views themselves. It's not me to change how you view yourself necessarily. Mm-hmm. It's just I might use that later on in the session when we're talking about your values or what your goals are.
I might ask
how you approach a situation.
So if you're sharing and you're expressing and you're sharing that I'm analytical, so I doing this X, so I'll look at it X, Y, or Z, or I'll do it this way, or I did it this way because I'm analytical. I might, as a coach, ask you, okay, well, what does being analytical mean to you? Like, why is that important? Why have I heard you use the word analytical several times? Like, what about being analytical is important to you?
Or what do you mean when you say analytical?
Yeah, what does being analytical mean? Yeah. Tell me more about that.
Because you might get two kinds of, more than probably two, but you might get two kinds of answers. One is a value-based judgment. Well, it's good to be analytical. I ought to be analytical, so I'm going to behave this way. Or it's descriptive. I'm noticing a pattern about myself throughout my whole life. I do these sorts of things, and I'm going to put the umbrella analytical. I'm just observing, a pattern
I think very
versus
much more
a
commonly
value-based
you're going to
judgment.
hear a client. I mean, analytical may be too specific, but I think it's very common for people to say, "Well, I'm an extrovert. I'm an introvert. I'm an extrovert, so X, Y, or Z. I'm an introvert, so X, Y, or Z." And as a coach, we might very easily just understand to be like, "Well, I
Take it for
understand what that
granted.
means. Take it for granted." But it also might be an opportunity for us to learn about our client and say, "Well, what is important about you being an extrovert in this situation?" And then we might be able to find more information out about what being an extrovert means to that client, because it might have a very different meaning than we think it does. I'm an ambivert. Omnivert? That sounds like I'm going to eat
Everything.
Yeah.
They're all made up terms. It doesn't matter. It's all made up to me.
Yeah.
Which means any label's good as any if I was a coach in that situation.
And that's the one thing too. I mean, as you're taking tests, and I think it's the thing that is. I think the thing that is most important is if we are doing a personality test, like giving it in this situation, like I am taking it for this reason. So like at work, I'm taking this for my at work personality, because we might not realize that we have different personalities depending on who we are around and what we're doing. Because my personality certainly does change in one situation versus another. I can be much more extroverted and social and talkative in the right situation, and then I can absolutely sit back and be a bit of a wallflower in a different situation. So like I think that just knowing that we can be different ways at different times is very important to consider.
Yeah, absolutely.
I do think that they're fun to take though and learn, and then I do think it's a fun way for me to go, do I like this about myself? Do I?
It's fun to judge people, based off their results too.
Well, it's mostly self-judgment.
The ones that I think are very useful for coaching are actually, I do like the saboteur test from Positive Intelligence.
Yeah, that was fun.
I did find that to be pretty useful in application for my own personal growth. And
there's also like Enneagram. There's so many.
There's also one called the 4 Tendencies, and it's about how you meet expectations, whether you're more driven to meet outer or inner. That one I've found very useful too. Not necessarily to say this is who I am, but to say this is my tendency. What do I want it to be? I'd rather it be more balanced rather than, what it's coming out. And so kind of like working on that. Again, as long as it's not limiting your growth and your sense of self, then it's a useful tool.
Yeah, I think it can be a useful tool as a way for us to grow. I think it is more useful in our own hands than it is maybe in the hands of somebody else who has never met us.
Well, it's useful in the fact that it can very quickly sort and organize and categorize large groups of people in short amount of time. If that's what you need as an organization, then yeah.
The tail.
I know.
Oh my gosh.
Well, it's because I'm in his chair and he's mad. I'm sitting in his chair, so that's why he's meowing at me.
You guys, I'm getting a cat.
That's so exciting.
You're getting a cat.
I'm getting a cat. I will have a cat next time we're on the live. He won't be on here,
Is
though.
it a kitten? Is it old? Is it?
It's a 10-year-old tuxedo cat.
Hey, both got old cats.
Name?
His name is Dex.
Dex. It's a cute
short for Hideki, who is a golfer. So.
I see.
So I think though, quickly, you were saying yes, it can be useful for other people, or to quickly categorize people. But sure, it's useful. But what we're saying, that can be dangerous because you aren't getting to know a human being. You're looking at just a test result, right? And so I think every person at the end of the day would rather be viewed as a whole human being and for who they are, and an actual human being than to be surmised by just what you have as a result on any test, right? And I think the moment we start forgetting that behind every test result of any test, as long as we're, testing people, is a whole human being. And that whole human being has a whole lot going on that you may not be considering when just looking through the narrow window of a test result.
So not with this business. Another business I had, I was hiring people. I kind of, in a sense, wish I had a little bit of a test, because there was a couple of people that just were not a good fit. Would that have helped? I don't know. One person I had hired, basically, so she was supposed to be following, being trained by someone else. And she's got the newspaper out with her feet on the desk. I'm like, oh my gosh, who does that on day 2 at a work environment? I mean, I know we're kicked back, but we're not that kicked back. And then we had another person who came in, and he didn't want to work. He stayed all of 5 days. On day 5, Friday, he left. He took his pen with him because he had a special pen. And I told the guys that I was working, I go, he's not coming back. They go, he's not even late. What are you talking about? I go, he's not coming back. He took his pen. And they thought it was ridiculous because I said that. He didn't come back.
There you go.
And then, he just didn't show up. He didn't call. He didn't anything. And I was like, well, something in my brain goes to worst case. If something happened to him, is there something we need? Right. So I called his house. His mom answered, and I said, blah, 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 blah. And she goes, oh, no, he's in bed napping. He didn't want to work that hard.
He just didn't want to have
Yeah.
So I can understand somebody wanting to utilize them. I don't know if it would measure that.
Well, and the thing is, no matter how people answer, you don't genuinely know how they're going to act until they show up.
Yeah.
Truthfully. Because
yes,
as Anthony said, a lot of people can lie, and I think that the smart and manipulative ones really know how to lie. And you're gonna fly through that test, breeze through that test, and seem great, and you don't really know until they get there. And then also the person showing up to give them a little bit of a break as well might not know what the job is fully until they get there. And so there's always a chance that somebody shows up and goes, oh my gosh, this is not what I want it to be. This is not a good fit for me. And then they have as much right to be done as anybody does, right? I mean, if it's at will, they can go at any time, and you can let them go at any time. So and so I would say final thoughts as we come to our close is just as a coach, if you're using your personality test, make sure you're just using it.
Be loose with it. I would say be loose
with it. Yeah. Don't swear. Don't make it law in any way.
Don't rest your gimmick.
Yeah. Be willing to be flexible.
My final thought, I took a wife rating scale test for Brooke in the background.
He answered
by 1929 standards, and Brooke got a 0%. As failure as a wife.
I would hope so by 1929 standards.
She's not my wife. But I don't know if she'll ever be now.
He lied on some of the questions, so I was not.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
That's my final thought. Is that maybe these tests are right?
How do we beat that final thought?
I can go. Final thought is, I think they can be fun to play around with, but when it becomes someone's real life, like that documentary shared, I think it's crossing boundaries as well.
It could be used for nefarious purposes.
Yeah.
I had to relinquish my chair to my cat.
I have a crazy idea. How about we just take the test and don't look at the results? It's a great self-reflection tool. But I mean, looking at the results are the fun part. So I understand that.
will
But
say,
I do just want to point out they are great for self-reflecting when you're going through the test themselves. You don't necessarily need to see that result for any benefit to come out of it.
I do think I won on the Big Five, though. I think I have the best.
So you're
I have
yeah,
the best.
back up.
According to the Big Five.
I find that test to be extremely inaccurate. It said I was not very conscientious.
That's one of the reasons I said I won,
Yeah,
because
me
I am
and
the
you,
most.
Jen, we're
I
both
am the most conscientious.
we're both super neurotic and
And I am the least neurotic.
Not neurotic at all. Like, how did it pick that up? I say final thought. I say final thought is that it's a tool, and like any tool, it can be used to help or harm. So use with caution and discernment and education.
Agreed.
Jerome, final thought.
I think he gave.
Who gave
Oh.
us?
You already
Here
get
it
one?
is.
Fine.
He said, "Don't look at the
Oh,
results."
yeah.
You were
Thank
too busy taking the wife quiz.
Yeah.
No, that was before.
Is there something we should know?
What?
No. He said if there's something we should know.
Oh, well, I gave you the results. It was a 0.
So we know.
All right. Well, thank you guys all for showing up for the final live of the year. Next year, 2026, we're going to have new and exciting and awesome and crazy topics to go over. In the meantime, we'll wish you a happy holidays. Enjoy your time. If your personality is that of a coach, then take our classes and we'll validate for that for you. Take our coaching 101 and 102 so that you can help every personality of clients that may come your way. And with that, happy holidays.
Bye.
Bye.
Happy holidays and happy new year. See you in 2026.